Mr. Scrivener, Jenny with Channel 17 here. How are you, sir? I just have a very few quick questions for you. Where have you been, Supervisor?
Under the advice of counsel. Pursuant to the advice of counsel, I'm not going to comment.
May I ask if the allegations of child assault are true?
I'm not going to comment.
Okay. Are you receiving special treatment, Mr. Scrivener?
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Kern County where I live. Recently, the county supervisor, Scrivener, he was shot by one of his own sons. His own son said that he did that because Scrivener was doing bad things to the little brother. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know how much of that stuff is true. I know his house was raided. They took some stuff out of there.
An exclusive update on former Kern County Supervisor Zach Scrivener. It has been 128 days since shocking allegations were made that he assaulted a child. He hasn't been charged, but has remained quiet, and his whereabouts have largely been unknown. We now know he's in town. He looks healthy, and he's back out in public. But as 17's Jenny Ha reports, he doesn't want to talk about the allegations against him or the health reasons that prompted him to resign from office.
Hi, Mr. Scrivener, Jenny with Channel 17 here. How are you, sir? I just have a very few quick questions for you. Where have you been, Supervisor?
Under the advice of counsel. Pursuant to the advice of counsel, I'm not going to comment.
May I ask if the allegations of child sexual assault are true?
I'm not going to comment.
Okay. Are you receiving special treatment, Mr. Scrivener? No answer from Scrivener as he makes his way into class. This a 30-second interaction between the former supervisor and 17 News Wednesday evening. Scrivener is taking a class on public policy and administration at Cal State University Bakersfield. The course description states students will learn to evaluate government programs. This is one of the required courses for CSUB's Master of Public Administration program, created for up-and-coming managers in government, nonprofit, and healthcare organizations in the San Joaquin Valley. Scrivener received his bachelor's in English literature at the University of California, Santa Barbara. On his way to class is where he saw Scrivener in person for the first time since an April incident in his Tehachapi home in which he faces allegations of sexually assaulting a preteen. He was dressed on par with the university setting and triple-digit weather in a loose t-shirt and shorts, a baseball cap, sunglasses dangling from his collar, backpack, sneakers, and a trimmed beard. After class ended, 17's Justin White went on a 10-minute chase with Scrivener around campus until Scrivener made his way into another building.
Mr. Scrivener.
Not going to comment.
Scrivener. You mentioned you resigned for health reasons. Can you mention those? Were you in Bakersfield ever since you left office? Do you want to give any statement at all?
No.
Scrivener awaits prosecution from the State Department of Justice if any prosecution is needed. The case is being handled out of the county as Kern District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer is Scrivener's aunt, presenting a conflict of interest. Following the allegations and months of absence and silence, Scrivener resigned from the Board of Supervisors August 2nd for, quote, significant health and medical reasons. Scrivener still has not been arrested nor charged. Jenny Ha, 17 News.
And in Wasco, California, a nearby town, actually the town I grew up in, the mayor was caught by a predator poacher for trying to hook up with the 14-year-old. He got bitch slapped. I actually seen that video. It was taken down from a few sites. I do have that as well. I think I'll put that later on my website when it's finished.
I'm Sam Hoyle, your Wasco neighborhood reporter in front of the Bakersfield Police Department. By now, you've likely seen the posts circulating on social media regarding what appears to be Wasco Mayor Alex Garcia being assaulted by two individuals, along with a long list of accusations made against Garcia. The accusations serious in nature, however, because there is no official report of any wrongdoing, whether it be through the assault or the accusations made against Garcia, we will not be describing either in this story. However, here is what we do know. Late Friday, when this story began to pick up traction, we reached out to the Wasco Police Department. They said at this time, the Bakersfield Police Department would be taking over the investigation because of the overwhelming likelihood that the crimes did occur in Bakersfield. We reached out to the city of Wasco. They said that they had no comment at this point in time. We've made repeated attempts to reach out to Wasco Mayor Alex Garcia. We have reached his voicemail several times and have not heard back as of news time. We reached out to the Bakersfield Police Department. They said as of right now, the incident is under investigation and they are working to make headway on that. As more information about this story becomes available, we'll update you on air and online as soon as we can. In Bakersfield, I'm Sam Hoyle, your Wasco neighborhood reporter.
The city of Wasco releasing a statement regarding the social media post involving Mayor Garcia. They say, in part, quote, "The city of Wasco is very concerned about these allegations and will continue to cooperate with the Bakersfield Police Department and any other agencies to ensure all the facts in this matter are brought to light quickly," end quote.
There's just a lot of crazy stuff that's been happening in Kern County, folks. This kind of stuff has been happening in Kern County for years. Did you guys know that there's an actual book written that was banned from this town because a lot of underground crazy stuff? I think that book's called The Lords of Bakersfield or something like that. You guys might want to look into that. And if anybody gets their hands on a copy of that, please let me know right away. I would really like to read that book.
The Lords of Bakersfield. That's the 1980s legend about local men of prominence who preyed on teen boys, resulting on several occasions in homicide. 17's Robert Price has been following this story for decades and files this report.
One warm Friday night in August 1981, 17-year-old Robert Mistrial took Ed Buck out for a ride on Bakersfield-Glenville Road. They were taking the long way around to Lake Isabella, or so Ed Buck thought. In reality, he was being set up. Kern County's 55-year-old personnel director and Mistrial's alleged sexual tormentor was being set up to be robbed and murdered by the man in the car following them. When Mistrial pulled over on the dark, desolate road north of town, 18-year-old Roy Matthew Kamenish pulled over in front of them, got out, walked back to the first car, and killed Ed Buck with a hammer and a knife. 3 days later, investigators found Buck's charred body in the trunk of his car, parked in the garage of his fire-ravaged home. That gruesome murder became the dark touchstone of a salacious legend, that of the Lords of Bakersfield, the alleged network of prominent local men who preyed on teen boys throughout much of the 1970s and early 80s. And now, 40 years after that shocking homicide, one of the killers has offered not a defense or a denial, but context. Allegations that suggest circumstances largely beyond his control as a teen contributed significantly to the crime. And those allegations have now become public in a lawsuit against the County of Kern, the City of Bakersfield, and Catholic Charities. The Kern County Board of Supervisors will meet in closed session Tuesday to decide on the next appropriate step. Mistrial served nearly 38 years in prison. Now he's going after the entities he says led him into the life that produced that heinous crime. Mistrial, who says he worked as a gay prostitute from the age of 11, identified these Lords of Bakersfield like this in an exclusive interview with 17 News.
Well, pretty, highfalutin politicians in Bakersfield. There were Superior Court judges, wealthy business people protected by district attorneys and law enforcement type people. A lot of highfalutin people involved.
Among Mistrial's claims, the now defunct San Felipe Boys Home in Bakersfield, associated with Catholic Charities, allowed men to take court-supervised juveniles from the boys' home, claiming they wanted to hire them, but instead sexually abused them. One of those men with special access to the residents of San Felipe Boys Home, according to Mistrial, was a close friend of the district attorney. That outsider's access is the basis of Mistrial's claim against Catholic Charities. Mistrial also alleges that he told his county juvenile probation officer about the abuse, and she failed to act as a mandatory reporter as required by law. In her testimony at Mistrial's 1983 murder trial, the probation officer confirmed Mistrial had in fact informed her of alleged abuse. That's the basis of Mistrial's claim against Kern County. Sound unlikely? Well, consider the findings of the State Board of Parole hearings, which granted Mistrial his freedom 2 years ago.
At my last parole hearing in 2019, the parole commissioner finally acknowledged that I was in fact the victim of childhood trafficking, and under those circumstances kind of understood what I did, though didn't condone it.
In voting to grant him parole, Commissioner Mary Thornton said it was not legally possible for Mistrial to consent to deviant behavior with adults as an 11 or 12-year-old. According to hearing transcripts, she said, "This would be looked at now as a case of human trafficking. You were made a victim for quite a length of time with a number of different people," said Presiding Commissioner Neil Schneider. "Exposure to deviant behavior leads to increased deviant behavior. Your deviant peers ended up being a whole cast of adult males. In this case, the young juvenile was exploited by a bunch of powerful, well-to-do adults. The civil rights lawsuit was originally filed as a legal claim in May 2021 and made public in late October. It lists the plaintiffs as well as all of the defendants, known and unknown, as John Does, but supplementary documents list Mistrial as the plaintiff and the defendants as the, quote, Bakersfield District Attorney, the Bakersfield Juvenile Probation Department, Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Fresno, the City of Bakersfield, and the County of Kern. AB 218, which deals with childhood sexual abuse, effectively extends the statute of limitations to include cases like this, according to Mistrial's attorney. City Attorney Jenny Gennaro says the city was served in late October and said that the matter was referred to the city's outside counsel. She characterized the suit as, quote, a vanilla complaint that failed to specify how the city may have had jurisdiction over or involvement with the boys' home that's alleged to have been at fault. Jeff Negretti, Executive Director of Catholic Charities, referred questions to the Diocese of Fresno. Diocese spokesman Chandler Marquez has not returned calls. Neither has Kern County Counsel Margot Raison. Mistrial was legally required to file a claim with the county prior to filing the lawsuit, which he did. The county rejected that claim, according to Mistrial's attorney, Sam Dordulian. Mistrial is seeking an unspecified sum of money for loss of income and emotional damages. It's the case that just won't go away even 40 years later, and if it proceeds, it could get expensive and uncomfortable. On Bakersfield-Glenville Road, Robert Price, 17 News.
So now we have Supervisor Leticia Perez under investigation for alleged use of county resources for political purposes. There is a lot more crazy stuff going on here in the city of Bakersfield. Like I said, I'm going to start covering a lot of this stuff. Let's go ahead and read what's going on right here in this news segment. An investigation is underway into Kern County Supervisor Leticia Perez after accusations that she used county resources for political purposes. Supervisor Perez claims she's being unfairly targeted by Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer during an explosive moment in Monday's special board meeting. On Friday, October 18th at approximately 9 a.m., investigators from the District Attorney's office attempted to make entry to my office when no one was present. They did not have permission, they did not provide notice to us, and they did not have a warrant because the office was empty and locked. They attempted to have the CAO, Chief Administrative Officer, give them access illegally to my office. They had cameras. There was no one in the office. I don't know what they were intending to do or what they were intending to photocopy, Perez said at the special supervisors meeting. Perez said she's contacted federal authorities as well as California Attorney General Rob Bonta, calling the DA's Gestapo-like tactics illegal, immoral, and unethical. Perez later walked out of the meeting saying her office was being raided by investigators. Now look, folks, some have gone around this community saying that we shouldn't refer to cops as the Gestapo, right? What just happened? What did Leticia Perez just call them? Gestapo-like tactics. Look, guys, sometimes we need to make that comparison because that's the way they're behaving, right? Government wants to hold you accountable, but they do not want to be held accountable at all whatsoever. That's why it was important for me to get out there and start recording and asking questions, because I wanted you guys to know how important it is to record all government transactions, because you guys must know that government is a business and you are considered a client. They want your money one way or the other. They will create new laws. They will give you so many traffic infractions and so many tickets, and they will ruin your life if they get an opportunity to make an extra buck. They don't care about you, folks. I also wanted to record police to let everybody know that it is your right to record police. Look, before I started my channel, I didn't even know that I can go out there, record police, and then go and conduct First Amendment audits where I go into these buildings, I ask questions and stuff like that. Now, she's saying that her office was closed, right? Was she getting paid to be at the office? Is that office supposed to be open during certain hours? There's a lot of things to consider when thinking about this, right? And I think it's important to highlight this stuff and also leave the information so that you guys can call and ask questions and find out, and let all these news agencies and our local politicians know we're not going to just let this get swept under the rug. Tomorrow's news story is not going to overshadow this one, or this one gets no attention. No, folks, we like to make sure that we provide you with phone numbers and stuff like that so you guys can make important phone calls and inquire about things like this, right? It's important that we hold our government officials accountable. Look, I don't know if what they did to her is illegal. I don't know that, all right? I don't know if what she's doing is illegal. I don't know many of those details yet. When I do find out, I'll make a follow-up video. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.